There comes a moment in every life where silence grows louder than noise, a moment when the excuses don't echo the way they used to. When the mask you've worn for years begins to crack, and for the first time you catch a glimpse of something behind your eyes, not weakness, not failure, but a lie. A quiet lie you've lived with for far too long. The lie that who you are right now is all you can be. Let me tell you something that will either shake you or scare you. There's a version of you that must die, the indecisive one, the fearful one, the one who scrolls past greatness because it's too uncomfortable to look in the mirror and see potential wasted. That version of you, the one who breaks under pressure, who hides behind distraction, who avoids discomfort like a plague. That version cannot come with you to the future you crave. That version is your enemy, and the war has already started. You don't need anyone's permission to change, but you do need your own command. You've got to become the executioner of your old self, not with regret, but with resolve, because what's waiting for you on the other side is not just some new life. It's your true self, the one buried under years of doubt, fear, and compromise. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." What he didn't say, but what you must understand, is that thought isn't just passive, it's surgical. It cuts, it builds, it shapes, it destroys. Your thoughts are the architects of your identity, and every day you keep thinking like a prisoner, you reinforce the bars around your own potential. The chains aren't real anymore. They never were. They were handed down by your upbringing, your past failures, by a society that loves comfort more than courage. But those chains only remain locked if you keep pretending the key isn't in your hand. This is what Napoleon Hill understood when he wrote Think and Grow Rich. He wasn't just talking about money, he was talking about power, the power of disciplined thought, the power of definiteness of purpose, the power of killing every thought, habit, and behavior that whispers, play it safe. Safe doesn't change the world. Safe doesn't build empires. Safe doesn't wake up the soul. Every man who ever did anything extraordinary, Edison, Carnegie, Mandela, Jobs, they all had to murder the version of themselves that wanted to be liked, that wanted to be accepted, that wanted to wait until they felt ready. You think success comes when the stars align? No. Success is a war of attrition. It's the daily slaughter of weakness, in the dark, when no one is watching. It's the brutal honesty that looks yourself in the mirror and says, "You're the problem, and you're the solution." You can feel it, can't you? The tension between who you are and who you pretend to be. That quiet war happening behind your eyes every morning. The inner voice that whispers, "There's more in you," versus the loud one that says, "But it's hard." Yes, it's hard, but that's the price. And guess what? The old you can't pay it. The version of you that hits snooze, that avoids the gym, that hides from rejection, that fears failure, that version is broke, bankrupt in discipline, empty of vision, and as long as you keep it alive, the stronger version of you can't breathe. You've got to decide, not wish, not hope, not wait. Decide that the weak version of you is not your friend, he's not your protector, he's your jailer, and you will not be his prisoner one day longer. Everything changes when you stop trying to improve your life from the outside in and start shaping it from the inside out. You don't need a new strategy. You need a new standard. And standards are not set by what you say you want. They're revealed by what you tolerate, what you allow to continue, what you excuse in yourself. Do you wake up when the alarm goes off, or do you snooze it and lie to yourself that 5 more minutes won't hurt? Do you finish what you start, or do you stack half-built bridges that lead nowhere? Do you train your body, your mind, your craft? Or do you numb your time with distractions and justify it with "I'm tired"? That's where your future is being built, in those silent decisions no one else sees. That's the battlefield where identity is won or lost. The person you're meant to become, they don't wait for motivation. They are governed by purpose. They move with precision. They speak with clarity. They walk into rooms with presence, not because they're faking it, but because they've earned it. Every late night when you wanted to quit but didn't, that's where character was built. Every early morning when the bed begged you to stay, but you chose mission over mood, that's when you rose. Not just in routine, in identity. because becoming isn't something that happens in a moment. It's not found in some big opportunity or breakthrough. It's in the grind, the boring, the mundane, the days you wanted to disappear but showed up anyway. You think kings are born in light, they're born in the dark, in silence, in rejection, in failure after failure, when they still chose to keep going. Do not underestimate how powerful you become when you consistently do what others avoid. That's what makes you rare. That's what builds the kind of internal gravity that pulls opportunity toward you. Not because you begged for it, because you became the kind of person who attracts it. You don't chase success. You build a version of yourself so aligned, so undeniable, that success has no choice but to show up. You think Tesla built his empire by waiting for the right mood? He slept in his lab. He worked through illness. He thought in years, not minutes. He didn't just act like a genius. He lived it day in, day out, without apology. You want to become the person you're meant to be? Then stop negotiating with your old self. That version of you, the one who settled, who feared, who avoided hard things, they don't get a vote anymore. You've outgrown them. The mind that got you here won't get you there. The habits that kept you safe won't make you strong. The identity that helped you survive won't help you thrive. So burn the script, rewrite the rules, and stop showing up like you're half committed to your own life. Because the future belongs to the one who acts like they've already claimed it, who walks with the fire of certainty, who makes decisions with conviction, not convenience, who builds without applause, trains without needing validation, creates without asking permission. That's what makes you dangerous. Not your talent, your standards, your consistency, your identity, forged, tested, refined. Every step forward from this moment must say, I already am the person I was born to become. Because once you live from that place, the world has no choice but to respond. You already know who you're supposed to be. You feel it in your gut. Not the version of you that wakes up tired, distracted, and doubtful. Not the version that second guesses, apologizes for dreaming, or waits for someone to give permission. No, deeper than all that, there is a version of you that is clear, powerful, disciplined, unstoppable. And the reason you feel that inner tension, it's because you're not acting like them yet. You're still trying to solve future problems with old patterns, still speaking like the old you, thinking like the version that failed, moving like the version that's waiting. But the future doesn't belong to the one who waits. It belongs to the one who becomes. The world doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what you match. Your habits, your words, your energy, they broadcast who you are, not who you wish to be, not who you used to be, who you are right now, in this moment. And if who you are is still thinking small, still hoping instead of building, still wishing instead of working, the world reflects that back, not to punish you, but to wake you up. The game changed the moment you realize this. You don't become successful and then act like that person. You act like that person and then you become successful, not the other way around. That means showing up before you feel ready, speaking with clarity before you have proof, moving with intention before you have results, because belief is a discipline, not a mood. Think of Lincoln. He didn't wait to feel powerful. He spoke words that shaped nations even when his own voice trembled. Carnegie didn't wait to feel worthy of wealth. He moved through steel and smoke with a vision so bold it made kings nervous. Edison didn't wait for perfect conditions. He failed his way forward until the darkness surrendered. What if you stopped negotiating with fear, stopped worshiping your limitations, stopped telling yourself stories that were written by weaker versions of you? What if, starting today, you acted like the person you're meant to become, not pretend, not fake, but fully embody, with discipline, with fire, with absolute command? Because the greatest transformation you'll ever experience is not when your bank account changes. It's when your identity changes. And identity is not found, it's forged through daily decisions, through relentless action, through the refusal to let your circumstances write your destiny. You've waited long enough. You've collected enough quotes. You've watched enough videos, heard enough sermons, journaled enough dreams. Now is the time to become. Not tomorrow, not when you have more clarity, not when you feel more confident. Confidence isn't a prerequisite, it's a byproduct. And it only comes to the one bold enough to act before they feel ready. Every time you take aligned action, you cast a vote for your future self. Every time you show up with discipline, you reinforce the identity you're building. And every time you refuse to settle, the universe takes note. But if you keep acting like the version of you that gave up, if you keep repeating the habits of the version that doubted, if you keep reacting like the version that feared everything, then you stay there. You don't grow into your future, you decay into your past. That's the quiet tragedy of most lives. They had greatness inside them, but they never acted like it. Clarity is the first weapon. You cannot hit a target you cannot see, and yet most people stumble through life with fogged up vision, chasing shadows, following crowds, obeying the script they never wrote. They chase money without a mission. They chase validation without values. And in the end, they lose both. If you want to be part of the 3%, you must become obsessed, not with results, but with direction. Ask yourself, not what do I want today, but what must I build for the next 10 years? What legacy must I carve with my life? Not what job pays the most, but what work awakens me. Because when your vision is clear, decisions become easy. Distractions lose their power. Time becomes a weapon, not a burden. And you move through life with the force of a man or woman on a mission. Henry Ford didn't ask what was possible. He asked what was necessary. Lincoln didn't ask for approval. He asked what was right. Walt Disney was laughed out of multiple studios, fired for lacking imagination, and yet he imagined a world that didn't exist and built it anyway. That's the kind of clarity the 3% live with. Not a clarity based on what's safe, but on what's necessary. Necessary for their purpose, necessary for their calling, necessary for the man or woman they were born to become. But clarity means nothing without action. Ideas are cheap. Everyone has them. Execution is the currency of success. And here's where 97% fail again. They wait for motivation. They wait until they feel ready. They confuse emotion with commitment. They pray for the mood instead of training the muscle. Discipline is not about how you feel. It's about who you decide to be, over and over and over again. When it's boring, when it's hard, when it's lonely, when no one claps, that's the forge where winners are made, motivation whispers, discipline commands, and that's what separates those who wish from those who win. You think Carnegie felt like getting up? The moment you decide, truly decide, to kill that version, everything changes, not instantly, not magically, but fundamentally. Because when you burn the bridge back to who you used to be, there is no escape hatch, no soft landing, only forward, only fire. And that fire, that's what forges the real you. Listen carefully. You are not born disciplined. You're not born confident. No one exits the womb with courage tattooed on their heart. These are forged qualities, beaten into shape on the anvil of resistance. Every morning you wake up and drag your body out of bed when you don't feel like it. You swing the hammer. Every time you open your mouth and speak your truth instead of biting your tongue for comfort, you swing the hammer. Every time you show up with purpose when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one's paying, you swing the damn hammer. And eventually that soft, fearful version of you, he stops fighting back. He starves, he shrinks, he dies, but only if you keep swinging. Napoleon Hill said it like this: deliberately seek the company of people who influence you to think and act on building the life you desire. Not the ones who pity your problems, not the ones who tolerate your excuses, the ones who make you ashamed to play small, the ones who demand the strongest version of you to show up every time. If you don't have those people in your life, become one of them. Become so disciplined, so driven, so focused that your very existence becomes a standard others feel obligated to rise to. You see, this is not about motivation. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. What we're talking about here is identity. and identity is built through consistency. You think winners wait to feel like it? No. Winners act and let the feelings follow, because they understand that action doesn't just change circumstances, it rewires belief. If you act like a man on a mission long enough, you become one. And a man on a mission doesn't have time to flirt with the weaker version of himself. He doesn't entertain thoughts of quitting. He doesn't keep company with cowardice. He wakes up with a fire in his chest and a vow in his soul: I will not die like this. I will not leave this world full of potential. I was too lazy, too distracted, too afraid to use. You want freedom? Start with discipline. You want confidence? Keep promises to yourself. You want clarity? Strip away everything that isn't aligned with your purpose. The weak version of you thrives in confusion. He thrives in excuses. He thrives in comfort. Kill his oxygen. Take away his shelter. Stop feeding him with thoughts like, I'm not ready, or what if I fail? You don't rise by avoiding failure. You rise by outlasting it. Let it come. Let it beat on your door like a storm, but you stand in the middle of that storm with a spine of steel and say, I will not bend. I will not bow. I was not made to retreat. This isn't just about becoming better. This is about becoming brutal with yourself. The kind of brutal that says, I don't care what I feel like, I care what I said I'd do. Because every day you act out of discipline instead of emotion, that weak version of you dies another death. And every day you show up stronger, even 1% stronger. You sharpen the weapon that will carve your future. You are not soft clay waiting to be molded. You are the sculptor, the hammer, the chisel, and the masterpiece. But only if you kill the version of you that keeps pretending otherwise. You will never become who you're meant to be by clinging to comfort. Growth only comes by stepping into the fire, not once, not twice, but every day, willingly. Because the fire that burns you is the same fire that builds you. You want to become the person you envy? Then start doing the things they do before you feel ready. Don't wait to feel confident. Don't wait to be qualified. Don't wait for the right moment. There is no right moment, only this moment. And this moment demands action. Do what the future version of you would do, not the version that's scared, soft, and distracted. Ask yourself every single morning, what would the strongest version of me do today? Then go be that. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. You need a standard so high it makes your old habits sick to their stomach. Because the person you envy, the one living the life you want, they're not better than you.